After years of struggles I didn't understand, when I finally got the diagnosis, it came as such a relief. This explains the constant mess. This explains the brain fog and the emotional roller coasters. This explains my whole life. As I learned about ADHD and looked back on my life, it all seemed so obvious. But as I learned more about health and human psychology, I was left with a disturbing question. What if I'm actually just retarded? Hi, I'm Liam, and I am chronically curious about what it means to live well. So when I got an ADHD diagnosis, I looked around and noticed that most of my friends meet diagnostic criteria. I realized my favorite people are described by this brain, and so I wanted to help see them thrive. So I got trained as an ADHD coach, and I worked one-on-one with many people and was a moderator in Facebook's largest ADHD men's support group. And after doing some of this moderation for a while, working with people one-on-one and reflecting on my own life, I came to an unpopular opinion. In my experience, a lot of what I thought was my ADHD, the brain fog, the messes, the emotional roller coasters, the symptoms that described and defined my condition were often the natural and predictable result of dumb decisions and ignorance. It wasn't a moral failing, it wasn't laziness, but to some degree, it was my choice. So in this video, I want to kind of explore a little bit of that in case it resonates. Let's use a literal mess as an example. I always assumed being messy was just who I am. Cleaning and organizing wasn't for me, but where ancient wisdom and modern psychology met, I discovered there were a couple embarrassingly small obstacles that were keeping my life a mess. The first obstacle was just thoughts. They come and go like clouds. Sometimes they bring storms. Sometimes they bring beautiful sunsets. Both the Buddha and your cognitive behavioral therapist will teach you that you don't need to take your thoughts so seriously. But you should try to notice them. What kept me from cleaning up my messes? A lot of the time, it's just like a nagging inner voice saying, I'm tired, I'm bored, I'm frustrated, my feet are sore, I want to do something else. Instead of noticing these thoughts as just a passing fancy, I acted on them without thinking. We often treat discomfort as if it's something to be fixed or treated, but realistically, it's an important part of the human experience, and it has been forever. You'll never get rid of it. And so I needed to learn to get comfortable with it. But that was just the start, like noticing this tendency to try to escape the discomfort of messes is one thing, but how do you actually clean them or prevent them from starting? The second obstacle I was facing was so obvious with hindsight. Even though by my mid-20s, I thought I understood what was going on, I didn't know shit. I had no clue, and I didn't know that I didn't know. I sort of acted like being clean and organized was just a natural part of you, like the color of your hair or how tall you are. And maybe it was fair to assume that, because when I looked at my parents' house, all the love to them if they're watching, I saw a mess there too. The people who taught me how to clean and organize my life themselves struggled a lot with cleaning and organizing their lives. I came to discover that cleaning, like so many other life basics, are not natural parts of you, but they're actually skills that you learn. Cooking, cleaning, sleeping, exercise. To start managing my brain, I needed to master life's fundamentals. I needed to fix the foundation. I needed to seriously humble myself. I had big visions for myself, but I couldn't even clean my kitchen after I was done cooking. But when I realized it was a skill, I realized I could learn it. And thank goodness for YouTube. Might not be the most exciting and entertainment stuff, but there is some really good content to teach you how to clean better. But of course, the ADHD diagnosis isn't just about being physically messy. And a lot of the time, it's like a mental and spiritual mess. Brain fog and the chaotic emotions, not only are these more uncomfortable than the physical mess, they feed back into the problem. They're some of the biggest barriers to doing well. It's hard to do well when you're emotionally dysregulated or have brain fog. So it turns out, in the same way that dealing with the mental obstacles like noticing my inner voice, of addressing my skills helped my physical life, dealing with my physical life helped my mental life. Our culture sort of seems to have this internalized mind-body dualism as if they're like separate things. But the deeper I went into this, the more I discovered they are one. I discovered that if I don't sleep enough or well or consistently, my brain doesn't work right. And according to various studies that should surprise no one, there is a huge correlation between disordered sleep and worse ADHD symptoms. And thankfully, like cleaning, I discovered there's actually a skill to sleeping. There are things you can do to make a sleep habit more realistic and predictable. I also didn't really exercise, even though it's one of the most studied and proven mental health treatments there is. Also helps with sleep. I was a mouth breather, and apparently that's not just some random insult, but disordered breathing, like mouth breathing, impairs your cognition. It affects your ability to think well and regulate your nervous system. And the physical problem that should have been most obvious at all, with or without studies, I smoked weed all the time. It is ridiculous that I used to act as if my brain's malfunctioning was such a mystery. I was chronically abusing the body that it was a part of every day. When I learned about and prioritized my physical fitness, a lot of my brain fog and my emotional dysregulation just went away. Does that mean it's not ADHD? Does that mean I'm not different? I don't know. I am not some enlightened genius now. I still have plenty of problems and challenges. But now I'm more personally accountable and quick to notice things that need to be changed. It is crystal clear to me that practicing mindfulness, humbling myself to learn the foundational skills of a functioning adult, and taking care of my physical body changed my life. Ultimately, these things have helped me understand myself and function better than any doctor or pill ever could. Thank you for watching. Thanks to everyone who's commented over the years since I posted last. I am still alive. Let me know in the comment section if you can relate, if you've ever discovered ways you were being dumb and that was causing your problems. Let me know if any of these specific issues I've addressed could use a bigger deep dive. And let me know in the comments if there are any specific issues or topics from this video or from your own mind that you'd like me to go deeper on. I recorded this video from my perspective because I know this brain isn't the same for everyone. But I thought it was important to share because I often see in this ADHD space a tremendous lack of personal accountability. It's become almost trendy to blame things on your mental health or whatever and to not try to make a solution yourself. I know that there's going to be some people who really need help to make the changes I've described in this video. But for some people, it's just going to be a matter of admitting it. For me, a lot of the time, it was just a matter of being honest with myself and being willing to put in the work. I hope you get something out of this video, and I plan to see you again soon.